Hello again. Here is the third and final installment of the military vehicle flat car load that I'd been working on. Here I'm taking some hobby wire and cutting it into lengths to make the tie downs for the load. I know when I was in the Marine Corps and loaded vehicles aboard Navy ships, we had cables of a certain variety. I don't really remember what they were called specifically, but we used them to tie our vehicles, tanks, trucks, and such things down to the deck of the Navy ships. We did not use chains, so it was more of a cable, and it had a tightening device, but that's what I'm trying to depict here. So I cut those little pieces of wire out with a little bend to go through the shackles on the front and back end of the armored vehicle. And I'm going to use some cyanoacrylate adhesive to glue them on. Here I've got some forceps, some tweezers, nice little tweezers to insert the ends of the cable into the vehicle, and that's what it looks like there. And here's what one looks like when it's on the flat car. You can see the cables that are tying it down to the deck. Obviously, I haven't gone to the trouble of having the detail of whatever is actually holding it to the deck. It's just sticking down into the wood that was laid down on the flat car. So here, kind of in sped up motion, is another depiction of putting the cables, in this case, onto the front end of the armored vehicle, and then using my pin type tool to apply CA adhesive, get it nicely positioned. What I use is a sewing needle where I've cut the end of the eye off, and that's used for putting CA on into specific places. And there again is what it'll look like with all four of them in position. You can see the wooden chocks and the cable tie downs. Obviously the cable tie downs are not in fact holding them down at all. They were just sitting there. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Elmer's white glue in the spots where the wheels will sit to really hold them down to the deck of the flat car. Set it in place, a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to make sure it's nicely done. And that white Elmer's glue dries, fairly clear. You've got a little bit of a slow motion move. You can see the flat car with the light armored vehicles moving through town there. As you look at it going by, I realize you don't really see those tie downs that much. They don't show up perfectly well, but I know they're there, and it took a couple hours of work to set all that up. So I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out. And I've got another view coming around by the station in an opposite direction. So I really enjoy having that on the layout. I think it'll look really good traveling in my trains across New Mexico. Here's a little bit of a close-up view again of the finished product with the chocks and the tie downs all visible. Thanks for watching.